Thanks everyone for joining us. Please enjoy the sounds of Roderick Dixon as host. Join us for today's lunch conversation, and we will begin shortly in roughly like a minute or so.
L'amour qui m'a tourné la tête, désormais me reconnaîtront. Ma tête en l'air, oui mes amis, je vais marcher sous votre drapeau, je vais marcher sous votre drapeau. Oui, c'est l'amour qui je respire, en mes derniers sourires, et ce doux espoir de mon être trouble ma raison et mon cœur.
Wonderful. Thank you everyone
À mes
for
amis
joining us
que
this
sur la
morning.
terre, je vais marcher sous vos drapeaux. À mes amis que sur la terre, je vais marcher sous vos drapeaux. Je vais marcher sous vos drapeaux. Je vais marcher. À mes amis, je vais marcher sous vos
We'll be starting now.
Yes, Madam President, let's go ahead and start now.
Good afternoon and welcome to our lunchtime conversation. This was a very interesting and unique type of a situation that we offered this year for Black History Month. So I just want to thank you all for joining us. It's not too late to tell your colleague that we're here. So if you want to forward that link over, there's no registration needed, and we invite all to come. I am Delora, for those that have not had the opportunity for me to meet you. I get the honor of serving as your president. At this time, I would like to introduce to you our vice president, Ms. Tina Robertson, who is the person who is responsible for all of these Black History Month activities for the association for 2024. At this time, Tina?
Hi, thank you, Madam President. I am so excited to be here today for our last virtual lunch and lunchtime conversation. As you guys all know, our theme, the national theme for Black History Month, was African American and the arts. So all throughout the month of February, we have done something each week. We did architecture, we did healing, and now this week is no different. Ms. Anika Phillips, our co-chair of membership, will be presenting today, and I am so excited that you all are here. We cannot wait. So Ms. Phillips, I turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Second Vice President and Madam Vice President. As they have both said, good afternoon. Today we will be discussing African American and the arts. Let's talk music, and not the kind that you hear on the radio. I'm talking about opera. As you all know, this is our theme of African American in the Arts. I would like to give a special thanks to ASHLA, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, for providing us with this year's theme and reminding us all of the contributions African Americans have bestowed upon America's musical legacy. Thank you all. This week's conversation was inspired by my fascination with opera. So, before we had SiriusXM, Spotify, Pandora, and even the internet, we listened to music on the radio, or we attended live musical productions. Although we had good music, and we still do have good music, and we've seen some good productions, like my favorite is Tyler Perry, there are other forms of music that we don't really get to hear or listen to as easily. So that is why I brought today classical/opera music. Before we begin, let's define opera. According to Merriam-Webster, opera is defined as a drama set to music made up of vocal pieces with orchestra accompaniment and orchestra overtones and interludes. In shorter layman's term, opera is like a play that is performed by song. Not like Tyler Perry, where they talk and then burst into song. But don't get me wrong, I love his music. I love his plays. He's just the easiest to equate. Oh, and I'm so sorry. I didn't even do my roll call thing, which is one of my favorite things. Everyone, do a shout out, type in the chat, which department are you representing? Like I myself, I'm representing DPSS. I am a linkages social worker stationed at the DCFS office in Santa Clarita. So what's up, AV? I see child support is here. Cool. And I'm so excited for everyone who's joined me today. Thank you so much. So at the beginning of the presentation, you all were listening to Roderick Dixon. He is a tenor opera singer and a member of the Three More Tenors. Later, well, actually now, if you can hear it playing, you can hear Justin May. He's an operatic soprano that passed in 2019 at the age of 74. Does a great thing. I love her. But before we were blessed to enjoy Roderick and Jessie May's beautiful voices, there were pioneers who endured partialities of America's unpleasant beginnings. That included segregation, Jim Crow laws, and things of that nature. But all of those hardships have made it possible for the Jessie Mays and Rodericks of our country to have the platform that they have today. If you cannot hear me over the music, I think you would need to turn your volume down on your speaker a little bit. I'm so sorry, but I will go past that. I have a trivia question for us to get us started. Oh, sorry. Peter, could you guide us through the trivia questions?
I can. The question is, how many types of opera is there? You can come off mute, or you can drop your answer in the chat. How many types of opera is there? Any guesses? You can make a guess.
And you can come off of mute. You can talk to me.
This is interactive. We had lunch, y'all.
Yes.
Black History Month. We had lunch.
All right, I'm gonna give you all one more minute.
How many? I'm just
Tina,
gonna guess.
how many you think?
I'm gonna say 3, but I don't
3?
know.
Okay. Miss Cynthia, how many you think? Okay, I got another 3. Miss Patricia, how many you think?
4.
Okay, 4 is a good one. There are 5 types of opera. We got bel canto, which is like an Italian phrase. As you can see, what it says here is beautiful singing. Opera buffa, a comical opera that is always sung in Italian. Opera seria is a serious opera, sort of like Othello. Othello was serious to me. It may not be an opera seria, but it was serious to me. And grand opera is a spectacular opera, so, you know, very splashy and stuff like that. And then we have musical drama, is a style of opera that is created by a single artist who writes both text and music to advance the drama. Now, opera for African Americans would not be where it is today if it were not for trailblazers such as soprano singer Ciceretta Jones, also known as the Black Patty. She was born January 5th and passed in June 24th, 1933. I do have a clip that I would like to share with you all that speaks to Miss Ciceretta Jones.
Hello, my name is Gino Francesconi. I'm the director of the archives in the Rose Museum at Carnegie Hall. Here's a singer, a vocalist, that's been forgotten and shouldn't be. Her name was Ciceretta Jones, and she was known in her day as the Black Patty. That's how she was identified. And Adelina Patti, as you can see here in this program, was one of the great singers of her day, and she was simply known as Patti. And so Ciceretta Jones was known as the Black Patti. And now imagine, here was a woman who, at her peak of performing, had sung at the White House, was making $2,000 a week. She divorced her husband and won. She sued her white manager and won. And she was singing around the world. And she was given brooches and medals made out of diamonds and rubies or gold. And she would wear them at every recital like a brigadier general. She would walk out in these astonishing gowns and having all of her awards attached to her gown. And then her mother became ill in Providence, Rhode Island. She gave up everything to be with her mother. She had 4 homes around the country. And when she stopped singing, the money stopped coming in. And one by one, she had to sell her homes. And then one by one, she had to sell these phenomenal medals and brooches. And yet, it wasn't enough. And by 1930, she died in poverty and forgotten. And she's buried in Providence, Rhode Island. We were thrilled when we discovered that Howard University had one of only 3 medals that she kept for herself as souvenirs. And one of those medals is one that was given to her at Carnegie Hall. It's an extraordinary piece, and we're grateful to Howard University that they've given it to us on an extended loan where it's on view in the museum on a regular basis.
So while Ciceretta was not fond of being called the Black Patti, she did not let that stop her. The great Ciceretta had many accomplishments during her lifetime. She toured across Europe. She sung for emperors, kings, and princes. Among her most notable accomplishments, she sung at the White House for 4 U.S. presidents. Of all 4, it was the 4th president, I believe it was Cary Grant, I believe it was, or President Grant. That was the only president she was able to go in through the front door of the White House, while all the other 3 during that time, she had to enter through the back door, because as you know, during that time, they had all these different rules and laws, and African Americans were not treated as equal. So she had to go in through like the maids or the service quarters. She was also the first African American female to grace the stage at Carnegie Hall. So I bet that's why she kept that particular medal, because it may have meant much more than anything else. Now, because of opera singers like Ciceretta Jones, we have the opportunity to know and hear the likes of such singers as Miss Marian Anderson, who is a contralto singer. Miss Anderson was born in February 1897, and she passed in April of 93. Marian, like Miss Ciceretta, experienced, again, the times of American history where she was not accepted or allowed to perform in certain venues because of the color of her skin. But despite those barriers of America's past, she didn't let it stop her either. Marian's achievements include she was the first scholarship awarded by the National Association of Negro Musicians. She was the first African American to sing with RCA Victor Recording Company. She was the first African American artist to solo with the New York Philharmonic. She was also the first African American to perform solo at the Lincoln Memorial. And she was the first African American to perform on the main stage at the Metropolitan Opera House. So Miss Marian and Miss Ciceretta, they are both like super queens in my book. And we have chats. So I want to make sure that, you know, I am including everyone. I'm so sorry. I'm reading everything and talking to y'all. Yes, it was. Thank you, Gabrielle. It was Ulysses S. Grant. During his presidency, Miss Ciceretta was able to go through the front door. She didn't have to go through the back door. She wasn't creeping no more. So that was pretty cool. I have a trivia question. Tina, could you take it
Okay.
over for me?
Yes. Do anybody know what is a contralto singer, or and even maybe who is a contralto singer?
You can come off of mute. You can
Uh,
talk to
Type,
us.
type it in the chat. A contralto. Contralto? I guess it's a alto and a maybe a tenor mix. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, talk to me. I don't want to seem like I'm teaching y'all today. Talk to me.
Sounds interesting though, a contralto. So it's
So there's
Is
some
it
in the chat. There,
My
go ahead,
Alexa's
Gabby.
not here, so I can't ask her. I'm sorry.
no worries? Take a guess. Let's see. I like calling on people. I'm a bit of a
I mean,
teacher
that's
myself.
like what control. That's definitely got something to do with control, right? Because
Is that my Jessica?
yeah.
Hey, girl.
All right, so
Hey,
we
hey,
do see
everybody.
some in the chat that are responding. We are monitoring the
Okay.
chat for you. Tina, what do we have in the chat?
I see Miss Cynthia is saying it's a female lowest singing voice. Thank you, Miss Cynthia, because you are spot on.
very good.
And
Female
then there
Control-
were a couple of chats that actually answered the question that you asked
Leontine
before.
Price. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't see
And
that.
yeah, we're
Okay.
monitoring the chat.
We got you.
have it.
Okay, thank y'all. Thank you. Shout out. Hi, Shavana. Thank you for joining us.
And
Yes.
then Marian Anderson is also listed here in the chat.
So a
Yeah.
contralto voice refers to the lowest female voice type. They're known for having a low voice. It is typically around F below middle C to the second F above middle C and having a rich, warm sound. I have a clip to show you all before I tell y'all some things about a contralto. Internet we're going to spin and act like it's not working. So while that's spinning, just a fun fact. Some famous singers. Oh, here we go.
40 days, 40 nights, and the rain kept falling. The wicked climbed a tree and help kept calling. For they heard the waters roaring. Did it rain? Rain? Did it rain? Tell me no. Some climbed a mountain, some climbed a hill, some started sailing on a rowing with a wheel, some tried swimming, and I guess they're swimming still, for they heard the waters roaring. Did it rain? Did it rain? Tell me no. Didn't it rain?
So that was Miss Marian Anderson. She was singing. As I did show in the clip, Miss Marian is a contralto singer. And excuse me if my pronunciation is not correct. I listened to it on Google and still can't get it right. We did see in the chat that a few people put in some names of other singers that have contralto voices. But here's another fun fact that I learned in my research. Toni Braxton, Sade, and Cher all have contralto voices. So, like, you hear Toni, I'm not even going to try to sing Toni's song, but she does have that low sounding voice. Yes, Raisha, you're right. She does have a beautiful voice, and it is a beautiful sound to hear her. So, we've talked about some wonderful opera singers, but let's not forget the opera composers. They're also trailblazers in this world of opera that we know today. So there are quite a few, but today we'll talk about two, Scott Joplin and Harry Lawrence Freeman. Composers create musical works that may be performed or recorded by new music ensembles, synchronized with a visual element to create a multimedia experience, or they are also created to be performed as part of an opera, is what we're talking about. Now, Scott Joplin, he was born November 1868 and he passed in April 1917 from an untimely death caused by syphilis, which it turned into dementia for him. So that was very unfortunate because he passed at a relatively young age. Scott Joplin is most known as the King of Ragtime, and he composed more than 40 ragtime pieces and 2 operas. Joplin is from a musical family of railroad laborers. So that was very interesting for me to learn. Like, I guess they was on the railroad just hitting the thing and they was just singing along, just doing their thing. He began publishing music in 1895. One of his publications, Maple Leaf Rag, in 1899 brought him fame. In 1907, Joplin moved to New York, where he was trying to find a producer for one of his operas. He attempted to go beyond the limitations of everything he had known and seen at that time, but because he didn't have much money, he wasn't all that successful. So his second opera, and in my research, I couldn't find the first one, but his second opera, Tremonisha, it was never fully staged during his lifetime, but once he passed, someone actually was able to come along and they produced the opera in full, and it got wide acclaim in 1972. So could you imagine, like, you living in the late 1800s and your opera doesn't get passed until 1972? That was like 9 years before I was born. The second composer we're speaking of today is Harry Lawrence Freeman. He was an American neo-romantic opera composer, conductor, impresario, and teacher. He was the first African American to write an opera, Ophelia, in 1891. So he became before Scott Joplin. Actually, Harry and Scott Joplin were friends. I learned that in my research. They knew each other. Freeman founded the Freeman School of Music, the Freeman School of Grand Opera, and the Negro Grand Opera Company, as well as several other short-lived opera companies, which, he used them to put his work out and stuff like that. His opera, Voodoo, it was composed in 1928, was Freeman's best-known work. It dealt with the cult of that name in Louisiana. Now, Freeman finished that opera in 1914, but it didn't get premiered until 14 years later. So I guess when I wrote composed in 1928, I probably should have said it was shown and, everyone was able to view it and experience it in 1928. So I feel like I've been going on and on and on. I've been doing a lot of talking and I have not, really heard from my guest. So I would like to know, has anybody been to any operas? If so, what is the last opera you have seen? Please unmute yourself, talk to us, put your answers in the chat. I really want to hear and talk to everyone.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle.
Hi, Gabrielle.
Hi. The last opera I attended, it was a while ago. It was called Tosca, and it was with Maria Ewing. She was an African American opera singer. She just recently passed away. But it was with the LA Opera Company at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
Oh, cool.
But
was that the first time you've been to an opera?
No, actually, I was an usher at the music center when I was in high school and college. So I was able to see a lot of operas. Also attend a lot of, like, listen to a lot of, I guess it'd be recitals with opera singers with the LA Philharmonic. So I was able to see like Jesse Norman, Kathleen Battle,
Oh, that's dope.
and the LA Music Center Opera, actually, because I'm old, they did their debut in like 1986. So I was there for their premiere season, and I would go periodically to see some of the like African American singers. So
That's dope.
I
That's
actually
dope.
love this topic. So I just have to tell you, it's really, and
Oh,
I'm kind of geeking out right now. But anyway,
oh, thank you. So am I. We together, girl.
so, but yeah, I mean, I like you were talking about Marian Anderson, and the one thing about her performing at the Lincoln Memorial, it was one historical thing is that they wouldn't allow her to perform with the Daughters of the American Revolution. And with that, Eleanor Roosevelt would not, she like gave up her membership
Yes,
during that time
yes.
because because of that. So that's a little historical thing about that. But yeah, I just have to tell you, this topic is amazing for me. So I'll stop talking.
No, don't stop talking. And you're right, because I read that as well about the DAR. And it actually led to them eventually changing the bylaws of their association to, get rid of that white only clause.
Right.
So, Miss Marion was a trailblazer, and she was like, no, we're not doing this. Y'all don't want to have me? Cool, then I'll have to be there. So it was good that they was like, no, wait. So that was dope.
There's some phenomenal young African-American opera singers, sopranos right now, that are making they're making their way across, like with the Metropolitan Opera and with the LA Opera and all across the country. Yeah. So I do follow them a lot. And
I do too. I'm subscribed to the LA Opera newsletter. And so it's a wonderful newsletter. You get everyone, you can check it out on their website. They have articles about up and coming African American opera singers that they say are sort of like on fire. They just over there just lighting the stages up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great. And I mean, I love the arts. So anything that you talk about with performing arts, musical theater, if you guys do a lunchtime meeting, I'll be sitting in here like geeking out. So just keep doing. I just love it. So
thank you for joining us. Is there anyone else in our conversation today that has had the pleasure of going to opera? It doesn't have to be in person. You could have watched it on TV. You could have done opera in the park. Oh, I am enjoying myself, y'all. I was nervous about this, but this is cool. So let's go into, I have another trivia question. And this should be an easy one. Tina, do you mind being my Vanna Black?
I don't mind at all. What song is Scott Joplin's most famous for? What song is Scott Joplin most famous for? Drop it in the chat. Come off mute. Come on, let us know.
I see in the chat The Entertainer. Anyone else have any?
Gabrielle told us this is her neck of the woods, so of course she answered The Entertainer.
Oh, I'm having a good time. This is fun. Gabrielle also said The Maple Leaf Rag. If I can, my little laptop is acting like it want to mess up on me today. Cool. So Gabrielle, you are correct. In my research, I saw that The Maple Leaf Rag is Scott Joplin's most famous song. Because of that, well, in fact, Scott Joplin's engagements at the popular Maple Leaf Club in Missouri is what inspired his tune. So I do have a clip that we can kind of hear a little bit of that song. So you all may have heard some of these on the ice cream truck. I remember ice cream trucks going down. And you'll kind of hear the song or some version of this on the ice cream truck. So when he passed, they kind of said my research is that his passing was the end of that time period. But this type of music led into other genres such as jazz and things like that. But Scott Joplin, he was Mr. Scott Joplin. You should.
This is great. Somebody put in the chat, we should take a trip together to go hear some opera. Let's get a group together within Lakia and outside of Lakia. I think that'll be exciting.
Yes, and it's funny you should say that. I got some stuff to talk about that. Where am I at? Oh,
Can you hear me, Anika?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hi,
Hi. Who is that speaking to me?
Leslie.
Hi, Leslie. Thank you for joining us today.
Y'all don't see
So-
me, right?
I don't think so. So to
No.
bring our conversation back home, what you all are looking at now is the Los Angeles Opera House. It is located in downtown LA. It is the fourth largest opera company in the United States. The company's home base is at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Like Gabrielle said earlier, she ushered there. So, you know, it's not far. It's like around the corner from the courthouses and things like that, down off of Hope or Temple or something like that. Don't quote me on it, Google address, but it's there. But what's so amazing about the LA Opera House is that they bring opera to everyone. They have the African American for LA Opera. It's a chapter of the Opera League. It's dedicated to increasing the awareness of opera throughout the Los Angeles area and to provide awareness of opera throughout the African American community and to African American opera lovers like myself and like Danielle and like everyone else on here who may like opera as well. Each season, the African Americans for LA Opera, they offer a variety of events, including a fall recital, a history seminar with recitals during Black History Month, and then they do an annual Father's Day celebration. So these are events for us, put on by us. Also, what's really cool about the LA Opera House that I love, and which is how I became introduced to opera, is twice a year they host Opera at the Beach and Opera at the Park. I attend Opera at the Beach. So at Santa Monica Pier, like right behind the building where the carousel is, they blow up a big screen and they live stream an opera. So this past opera season, my daughter and I were there and we saw Othello, which was really cool. The main character was an African American guy by the name of Russell Thomas. So please check out the LA Opera website, sign up and join their newsletter. You can click on community events, and that way you'll sign up. And when they do host the opera at the beach or opera at the park, you'll get a notification. And oh, I should say, the opera at the park is always at a park that is more inland. So I know one year they had opera at the park at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Opera at the Park was at a park in Torrance. So for those of you all who don't live, you know, closer to the beach or in the Antelope Valley like I do, they do have these events happening in the city closer to all you LA people. But y'all need to come up to the Antelope Valley. Another time, another subject. So speaking of Russell Thomas, as I said, I was introduced to this wonderful tenor singer last year when I saw him in Othello at Santa Monica Pier. Russell is a resident LA artist at the LA Opera House. He's so good and so well appreciated that he has the Russell Thomas Youth Artist Training Academy there. This is where he and his colleagues, they prepare Los Angeles high school students, not LA High, but high school students within the LA area from undeserved communities. They prep them for future careers in opera. I think that's really cool because his whole mission, although he's building his opera career, he wants to give back to those in our community. So the comprehensive program that he runs is a multi-year program. They do weekly vocal and movement workshops, and they have performance opportunities for the students. So it's really cool. And I have a clip so that we can hear a little bit about Russell and how he got into opera singing. Because when I watched it, I thought it was pretty cool how he got introduced.
I
Hello, I'm
appreciate
Russell
this today.
Thomas, LA Opera's Artist in Residence.
Thank you.
An
I'm
artist in
having a
residence
good time
is
sharing what I
a
like with you all.
role or position at a company
I hope you
that
all can
allows
hear
an
him.
artist to artistic perspective. And for me, that has been community programs, engaging underrepresented communities, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. What drew me to opera was hearing opera on the radio for the first time as a kid. When I was 8, I heard opera on the radio for the first time, and I was hooked. I don't know why. I didn't know what I was listening to. I didn't know what it was, but I was hooked. When I got to high school, and I was about to, my junior year in high school, where everyone's making decisions about what they're going to do with their college life, college career, I meet this woman who says, you can be an opera singer, and that changed everything. I decided that that's what I was going to put 150% of my energy behind, and I auditioned for schools. I was accepted to all of them, and I decided that that was probably what I should do. The most challenging part of this journey has been trying to maintain my identity as a Black man and my Blackness to the fullest while still being accepted into these spaces. My advice for anybody that's interested in pursuing opera or anything in the performing arts is to learn a different skill. Have more than one skill. Don't just, know how to sing or draw or paint or whatever that art is, play the piano. Know how to do something else. It's very important for your future. It's very important for the day that when the voice doesn't work as well, the fingers don't work as well, the legs don't work as well as a dancer, whatever the case is. It's important to have another skill.
So that was Russell Thomas sharing how he, got introduced to opera. Sorry, everyone, for that. Those are my clips for today. So as I was saying, that is, I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties.
You're doing
There we
fine.
go. All right, there we go. So that was Russell Thomas sharing about his operatic experience and where he's going with his career and how he was introduced. Bringing us home, how to celebrate Black History Month. So there are a number of ways. I was reading in the chat, some people were saying that we should get a group together and we should, go see an opera. I love that idea because right now, so starting, I think it's this weekend, going up until March 13th, at the LA Opera House, there is a twofer. Highway 1 USA and The Dwarf is being played together. These productions are all African American. The composer is African American, and so are the characters. The orchestra leader, the conductor, I read the casting notes. He's not African American, but everyone else is. So I don't think that really matters, but still. It's a great show. I've read the reviews. The tickets are not crazy, insane, expensive, very reasonably priced. I have seen pictures of the LA Opera House. and it seems like every seat is a good seat. I don't know, Gabrielle, what do you think? Would you agree? Every seat is a good seat?
Every seat is a good seat. I actually prefer to be above, like on the third floor, third level, which is the loge, because I can see more. And instead of being like everyone thinks orchestra, that's the best seat. Not necessarily. If I'm going to be underneath, like their mezzanine or their founder circle, I'd rather be up on an upper level. That's just my preference because I can see more. I'd rather be up and see down onto the stage than be on the first level. But everyone's
Okay.
preference. That's just me.
Okay, so we got some inside information. So when you're looking at the seating chart and you're looking at those prices, maybe that $200 seat is not worth getting. It might be better to go with the $94 seat. I am loving it. Someone said, come on, Gabrielle, give us that knowledge. Oh, I am enjoying this. But yes, please check out the LA Opera website if you're interested in going. If anybody wants to get together, I'm always down for field trips. You can just hit me up. You can email me, text me, smoke signal me, and be like, hey, you want to go see? I'm down to go. Other ways that we can continue to celebrate Black History Month is we can read our African American authors. I want to give a shout out to Miss Yolanda with the LA County Libraries. We need to start back going to our libraries. We can check out Miss Toni Morrison. We can check out Miss Zora Neale Hurston. Those are some ways that we can get back. And there are some other fabulous authors. If you don't want to be, you want to be a little gritty, you can go get your little Zane and whatnot at the at the library. And excuse me, I'm coming off of a cold. Other ways that you can celebrate Black History Month, you can take a trip down to Leimert Park. Oh, Madam President had a good point, and I got a plug for that. Let me show you all. Miss Madam President said that we should join the book club, and I totally agree. So here's a plug on our book club. We are going to be reading Miss Cynthia McCoy Miller. She was recently our Crystal Eagle awardee. We celebrated her on last Thursday. We are going to be reading her book. She is a LA County employee and manager. She grew up in the ranks, very dope. You can visit our LaKea website, check us out on Eventbrite to sign up. This is the information. And if you are not following us on Eventbrite or Instagram or Facebook, please follow us. You don't have to link us to your work page. You can link us to your private page. But follow us, check us out, sign up, join us for the book. You can purchase Miss Cynthia's book on Amazon. It is reasonably priced. Back to ways that we can celebrate Black History Month. You can take a trip down to Leimert Park. I mean, I know we go to Leimert Park, but every Sunday, the last Sunday of every month, they hold an art walk. And it's really dope because even though I was born and raised in LA, I never really went to Leimert Park. I know that's weird. And it was like I passed it all the time on the Vernon bus. But I went last year and it was really nice. Beautiful artists, beautiful musicians playing. It was like everything African American, everything African on that 1.5 block radius. It was really dope. So that is a way that you can celebrate Black History Month. And I'm opening my, okay. So it would have been last Sunday on the 25th. So if you are available in March on the 31st, that'll be your next opportunity to check out Leimert Park. Music is everywhere. You can check us out on BET and things of that nature. Also, go visit the African American Museum down at the Science Center between Vermont and Fig. That is another great place to go check out, learn, and see the contributions that we have bestowed upon this country, not just in opera, but paintings, sculptures, and all of those fabulous things. So those are some things that you can do for Black History Month. I'm going to take you back. Does anyone have anything to say to me before we head out? We have like maybe about 5-10 minutes left. I want to shout out to everyone who is here today, all my peoples who have joined us. You all are my peoples. I just go down the list, start calling folks out. But thank you. Thank you, Latrice. I appreciate that love.
So if you can stop to share, we'll go ahead and all
Before
join
I
me.
stop to share, I want to tell everyone, please come out on March 16th. I'm hosting a mixer on behalf of Lakea.
Yeah,
So,
we are hosting, right?
Yes, the
association.
The association is, but it's in Lancaster. So please come join us on March 16th for the mixer. I wanted to give a plug and tell everybody to come out, have a drink with me, have fun with me, and Madam President, because she's going to be there too.
Thank you. Thank you so
I'm going to
much.
stop the share and turn it over to Madam President. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, everyone, for joining and supporting us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if I was just going to ask you all to take a moment to use your reaction keys and give a round of applause to Anika Phillips, our co-chair of membership, who did a fabulous job with today's presentation. We didn't know about ARPA and the manner in which we heard about it today. So really want to thank you, Anika. Job well done. You've made the association very proud. As we are having these lunch conversations, we've been asked and asking, is this something Lakea should do moving beyond the Black History Month? I know during Black History Month, we do a lot of focus on our history, but as our mantra is to elevate, educate, and empower, there's been a lot of recommendation and or suggestions that we host lunch conversations, maybe monthly, to highlight our work, our contributions, and things of that nature. They said, keep it going. So I wanted to ask those of you that are still here, if you could raise your hands so we can kind of get an unofficial survey as if this is something we should continue to do as an association. Would you support it? Would you give up your lunch time to be with us? Just raise your hand so we could see. So 4 out of 19. Someone can do the count for us, because raising the hand will keep it longer so we can get a accurate count. So we have about 19 folks here and 5 say that we should continue.
Hi
Yes.
guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I cannot raise my hand for some reason. This is Danielle McQueen. I'm on my cell phone at work, but I just want to say yes, of course, I would like to do it. So count me in.
Count you in, okay.
All right. Thank you guys
And
again for this. I love it because it's been so dead over here in my office, and I've been just walking around trying to talk to our people about it. So we're supposed to try to get it together for Juneteenth.
Yes, well, let us know how we could support. As Anika shared, the association is doing a lot of mixers and a lot of things coming up. So our goal is to make sure that we are providing you as members with the things that you need. So yes, on March the 16th, we'll be in the Antelope Valley. On March the 2nd, this Saturday, we'll be in Los Angeles, just having coffee or tea and chatting to be there to support. On March 20th, we will be having our annual Women's History Month event. And then we have some events scheduled for the months of April 13th. You need any and everyone that has a master's degree to be on the Zoom with us or in person with us, because what we will be doing is helping folks move through and become aware of a management fellows opportunity that will be opening, in my understanding, in May. So we're going to meet in April to get everybody prepared and link up folks with folks that have successfully moved in that position of management fellow and moved up in their careers. So if you know anyone with a MBA or MPA or anything that said master behind it, please, please, please tell them to connect with Lakea for that April 13th day. And then we will be doing some more around interviews and resumes in the month of May. But please, folks, take an opportunity to join the 2024 Lakea Wellness Initiative. We have 5 sessions. Couple are virtual, couple are in person. And these facilitators are phenomenal. They are phenomenal because we want to make sure that we are uplifting each other and taking care of one another. Self-care is very important. So we got a lot coming. Of course, June, we'll be back with the Juneteenth celebrations, and then things coming later on in the year, more mixers. October the 5th, I know everyone's calendar is already marked for our general membership conference that the membership committee is leading for us. So there is a lot going on, but we need to hear from you. Please send us an email to either the president at LACAEA, LACAAEA.org, and share with us what you would like to see more of. I thank you again. Let's applaud Anika Phillips and Tina Robinson, who led our Black History Month celebrations this year. Also give a shout out, I don't know if she's still here, to our Meta Bravo and the SIC team, as they did a phenomenal job with the gala. Everyone is still talking about that gala and them beautiful gowns. And then also give a shout out to the departmental reps. LACAEA has a goal of increasing our department, our membership. It needs to be at 1,800 folks by the end of December 31st, 2025, and we are making strides. So shout out to all of the department reps and to our retiree committee for continuing their efforts around raising monies for our seniors. LACAEA is on the move, y'all. We moving the needle, and it's through the hard work of all of you that will make us successful. So thank you for your time today. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Appreciate
Book Talk.
everyone for joining us this month, Black History Month.
And remember, we stay Black
All
365.
year.
Thank you. And our founding member, Cynthia Machen, I don't know if y'all seen her here, but she is here with us. She used to run these programs for us. You have any closing words, Miss Cynthia? If you want to unmute, we will always leave the floor open for our elders.
I just want to give a hand clap for Anika and a wonderful program. I was just really thrilled, and I learned a lot today. As a senior, I appreciate it. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Black History Month is still my heart. And thank you, Madam President, for giving me the opportunity to say hi to everyone. You guys take care.
All righty, y'all. So we're gonna close this one out. Continue to elevate, educate, and empower. Spread the word. LACAEA will move the needle because we leveling up. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Anika.